What's up? Hi, this is your favorite wrestling show from our new home, FanFest. Wow, look at us. Ooh, get comfy.
Nice.
I am here with my show bros, Devin The Dude, Greggo. How you doing? How's it going? How you feeling?
Man, listen, it's of course I missed last week, so I've been all curious about your trip and everything, and then of course I've just been like
Yeah, you've been busy.
busy. But of course, you might see some stuff around me that you might be able to take a gander on, and then we might talk about it later and everything. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Devin, what's up, my guy?
Yes, sir. What's going on, man? Another day, another dollar. Happy to be here. Happy to talk that wrestling. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it, shall we? As it said,
The aesthetic.
oh man, let people mentally prepare to know what they got going on. And here we go. I'm just gonna play it.
Hear people like Swerve Strickland talk about, it's not a lot of black representation on the PLEs these days. Well, damn it, I didn't have to worry about that in my day. I was on all of them. I was on all the pay-per-views. All right. I was main eventing some of them as well. So I don't know what the hell he's talking about as far as that goes. Maybe it's a drop-off, as far as talent. Maybe guys need to work up to my level, okay? And really, really think about putting themselves in a position and say, hey, man, let's forget about, this black thing, and let's throw it all in and see how good we are. Let's do it the way I did it. All right? We ain't got to start nothing on social media or anything like that. Let's just see how good we are. Because I could have sank, all the way to the bottom in the WWE, just like so many others did. So many of them.
Well, I mean,
and more importantly,
no, but at least
most of those guys are white.
We can't.
So I'm just saying, it was about how talented, I was, and a lot as far as he is. It's about how talented he is. It's about how talented every other black person that get what they get in this business. Don't just throw a tag on them because they're black.
I know what it says.
It's ridiculous.
You have to rewind just a little bit.
It's ridiculous.
Last
for him
week,
to speak on something like
Strickland
that and
was
make it about that, popular, because he had a
YouTube interview series, and a lot of things were said in a lot of different directions. Some stuff he sort of touched on a lot of things in regards to his stay in WWE and how he got let go, and then also he touched on some things as far as just the general climate of the black male wrestler in both WWE and AEW, and a legend, Hall of Famer Booker T caught some strays, and Booker wasn't going to let that just slide and everything. So it just so happened that in that clip he actually talks about apparently they ran into each other just recently back in my stomps in Richmond. At a Comic-Con this past weekend, and he dealt with him face to face. And so this was basically the aftermath of what happened following that. And needless to say, like, it started off kind of calm, but Booker got real heated by the end. Like, he worked himself into into go mode and everything. And he was talking about like how Swerve shouldn't have gone on Vlad. Vlad plays people, but then come to find out, Vlad, he actually posted receipts as far as looks like 5 years ago. He tried to get Booker on to come on Vlad, and at least back then, Booker was interested. He was ready to go, and so that's been causing a whole bunch of discourse. Of course, I think it needs to go into just a little bit of context here, because, like, again, we're talking about, like I said, Swerve, talking about how AJ, Top Dollar, kind of basically caused all of Hit Row
in the Hit Row
back in 2021, which also opened the door for Swerve to get hired by AEW. And so and even with that, like I guess AJ and Swerve ran into each other just before that, and they were trying to make sure that things were good with them. And at least at that point, Swerve said everything's cool, not already knowing that he had the interview coming up, and I guess he'd already recorded by then. So that in itself is a bit of a but it's I definitely want to get your guys' thoughts on it, but I definitely it's one of those things where it's like, this is why you don't let certain things get out there, because if you don't say shit, then they ain't got shit to talk about, and then they ain't got shit to talk about, and it turns and it actually proves Booker T right, where it's like you turn into something where it's like everybody pitch sides and everything, and you wouldn't basically getting playing yourself. And but what are y'all's thoughts on that?
No, and of course, you always kind of want to side with I don't know, the younger generation, because the older generation, they're so stuck in their ways, right? And they always they always put their foot in their mouth. You always hear a story about how the older generation just continuously and constantly habitually puts their foot in their mouth. But in this case, it's kind of hard for me to root against Booker. He actually made some valid points in all this, and like you kind of let you congratulations, you played yourself, and it's kind of sad to see in this point, because like had you not said anything, nothing would have been said. And like we got to kind of look at this on a real standpoint, right? Like, as far as major black male wrestlers in PLEs, like, who are our legitimate options, especially in WWE right now?
I'm glad you asked that question, actually.
No, so like let's we kind of have to call a spade in this right now, but let's look at the grand scheme. I'm always, if you hate to say it, whatever, I always am going to play devil's advocate. I'm always going to look at both sides of the fence, right? And you want to say like, oh, Triple H is racist and he doesn't push black wrestlers, but then let's go one tier down. Let's go to NXT, and to understand that's
what just happened.
Let's talk about it, right? We have pretty much the main event of WrestleMania for NXT being 3 black dudes. We got Trick Williams,
not 2, 3.
Trick Williams, Obafemi, and Javon Evans. 3 black dudes, and they are about to headline.
That's back-to-back years. Back-to-back years. Remember, last year it was Trick and Carmelo.
Exactly. So you got to kind of be patient. You got to kind of look at the grand, the bigger picture here. There's talent there, and the talent is bubbling. If you're about to say Trick isn't coming to the main roster after WrestleMania, you're not looking at the bigger picture here. So we got to kind of be careful with what we're saying, and just kind of let it play out in a sense. And we just at the moment, there's just not that top talent. And I mean, coincidentally, whatever you want to call it, that's just not WrestleMania worthy. But let's look at the women at the same time. Bianca's about to tear it up all over again. She continuously has to carry the women's division. So they're there, right? And in Swerve, I appreciated you. I liked what Hit Row was doing. I'm sorry y'all didn't get the push that y'all kind of deserved, and there's reasons for that, in the same way. But you got to call a spade, and it is what it is right now. You just had a championship reign a couple months ago yourself, so there's talent there. You just kind of let it bubble a little bit, man.
Sir Crunk, instead, I want you to chime in before I get up in this. Go ahead. I'm sure you were knighted while you were abroad, so I'm like, yeah, it's Sir Crunk now.
I guess I don't know all the behind the scenes stuff, and where I get what he's saying. I don't know. It does come off as like old man. He makes
old man yelling
points.
at a tree. Mm-hmm.
Yes, he makes good points, but also the whole like he seems like almost. It feels like that black guy who sticks up a little too hard for the whites, and even he's like the black thing. Like even the way that he like talks about it, he seems like so afraid himself to make it a race thing. And I understand, and again, we don't.
He's afraid to make it a race thing, but at the same time, he's going to throw stones at what happened with Booker T and a segment with the old man back in the day. And it's like, you know, I'm go ahead, keep going.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, and I mean, and that wasn't great. Booker T is a WWE guy. He will do what needs to be done for the betterment of the company. And if that means like he's bigging himself up, rightfully so. He was a top guy. He was doing his thing. But I mean, it also just kind of doesn't acknowledge the saying we have to work twice as hard for half of as much. And I feel like he just wants his accolade. Because he should be able to be like, look, I was the one black guy out there grinding and doing hard. And he should be like, I had to work super hard. He did have to work super hard. He had to like take out his own brother. They literally were like, there can't be two of you. It has to be one of you. And his brother had to be like, go for it. It's all you. He had to take out his own brother to become the man that he was. It's just tough. Yes, in 3 years from now, it's going to be black as fuck on both sides because, like y'all said, NXT, coming. Exactly. But I mean, there's some truth for it. It's a little weird. I mean, I don't know, and maybe it is because we still have the stink of the old man, and Triple H
little bit
does need a little time to cook, and we'll see.
I mean, it's definitely a worse person, makes a good point. Situation, like let's be clear upon that. Like, Booker historically puts his foot in his mouth, but this time he actually made some valid points. But yeah, go ahead, Greggo.
So the one thing I want to make sure I'm clear with this here, because especially since we've been in this whole Stephen A versus LeBron shit, I'm like, if nothing else, he saw the man in person and dealt with him in person. So it wasn't a case of where we just hide behind these mics and talking shit there. It's like, nah, they actually had a face-to-face interaction here. Now, having said that, and I know we talked about this before, because like I said, this issue with the black men on PLEs has been a thing for a good minute. And you have to kind of roll it back when the old man was in charge. And just think about this for a second. If he doesn't fire Swerve and Hit Row at the time, if Big E doesn't get hurt, and not to mention if he doesn't squash the fuck out of Kofi Kingston in 8 seconds to Brock Lesnar, even if you take out Bobby Lashley out of that equation, you have guys who would still be in their prime right now that could contribute to the main event scene in WWE. Now, having said all that, I want you to keep something in context here. We all know about Braun Breaker, the Intercontinental Champion, our guy LeBron. He was ready for NXT for the main roster probably 2 years ago, and even he was held back an extra year before they put him on the main roster.
Are you saying that because he tanned so much? Did he confuse the old man?
No. If they didn't rush out Braun, they're not going to rush out Trick. They're not going to rush out Obafemi. Because all this considered, like, they've already reached the top of NXT. So it's like, what else is there to do? I mean, and especially in Trick's case, because he's lost the NXT title, won it back, lost it again, and he's still there. Like, it's definitely a process to what how they do it in the performance center in NXT, where it's like we're not just going to rush it just for numbers' sake and just be like, hey, we got to meet a quota, so we got to get one of these guys back on the main roster, even though they might not be ready. It's like, hey, we got to make sure the numbers are straight. So it's definitely a case of where you got to let shit cook if you wanted to cook right, and if it's not their time yet, trust me, it's coming, because we've already seen like a couple times when Trick has been on the main roster and had a couple run-ins, and they already know about whoop that Trick. So it's definitely a case like once that time comes, it's gonna come. And of course we got Ricky Saints doing this thing. He just became the North American champion on NXT.
North American.
So and once again another black man winning that belt. And
wait, excuse me?
Oh yeah, there's a strong
Ricky Saints.
run.
Yeah.
Let's go. I didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
And it's definitely a case of where like you just gotta, let you. Now, I will say, as far as the one thing I do have an issue with Booker was that he tried to pull that. Well, I was treated right, so everybody else. I'm like, no, not everybody else was right, because like for every Booker situation, there's a Hit Row situation. For every Bianca situation, there's a Sasha Banks and Naomi situation. Clearly, it's case by case. So, I definitely push back on the idea that, okay, just because one person was treated right doesn't mean everybody's treated. Because clearly, if nothing else, everybody ain't got the Rock treatment, and we all know that. And it's something where, like, you just have to just take a step back. And again, kind of like the last part that Booker said, that I feel that if nothing else, I agree with that much. Like, you got to slow down and stop letting folks play you and start and put us against each other, because at the end of the day, there's not a lot of big name black wrestlers at all. It's not like you can lose a Swerve and be like, hey, because outside of AEW and WWE, like, how many big name black wrestlers are there? It's really just like Moose. Who else? I mean, you can kind of say
Chris B.
Yeah, of course, shout out to him, because I know they just had the benefit for him a couple weeks ago. I guess you could say to a lesser extent, Rich Swann, of course, he fell down a bit after he left WWE. It's like there's not a whole lot. There's not. And so, like, the idea that, black men and black wrestlers, you're just gonna growing off of trees, they're not. So like, you have to allow the process to kind of take care of itself, because like I said, if y'all looking at NXT and y'all watch that, we coming. So indeed. I know everybody's in this culture where everybody wants things right then and right now, but it's like, for what they're doing right now, let that shit cook. And scene.
And before we move on, who is it? West Side Gun. Doesn't he have his own wrestling company now? I believe.
He's doing something on the indies. I don't want to say they have something here.
Fourth Row. Yeah, it's called the Fourth Row.
Yeah. But he's doing this thing on the indies thing, like I said, giving opportunities for black wrestlers. Again, like, if nothing else, I would definitely say that in the next 5, 10, 15 years, you're definitely going to see a far more diverse atmosphere in wrestling in general. It's not going to be just us. You're going to see.
That's because wrestling is cool now.
Yeah, and yeah, like, because of course you're going to see eventually. You're going to see those kids that are watching and getting introduced to wrestling right now. They're going to be like, hey, I want to do that shit too. Like I remember when I was watching Seth Rollins beat Roman and watching Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Syndicate win the tag belts. Like, that's going to be their core memories growing up. So again, just because it's not, the absolute best right now, don't trip. And again, I hate this narrative, because I feel like it kind of overlooks what the women are doing and in both companies. And I'm like,
I mean,
don't get like right now we're in a fucking renaissance right now because
Cena and Mercedes are about to go at it right now.
Dog, the fact that they finally dug up Athena from ROH and brought her on to AEW TV because it's been like fucking forever since she's been on one of the shows, and I'm like, again, like there's never been a period like this ever with black women in general in wrestling. Like you're about to have, obviously Bianca's about to have her world title match at WrestleMania. You're probably gonna have for the first time a non-title match at Mania with two black women with Naomi and Jade. You're about to have
last week.
About to have Mercedes and Athena do their thing in AEW. You still got Willow doing her thing. It's like, dog, like don't like
look at the
calm your jets for just a little bit. Say we got something over here that's good, that's cooking. So this will come. In the meantime, calm.
Just enjoy it. That's fair.
Just
That's fair.
enjoy it.
All right. Cool. Let's move on to some blood.
Jesus
my
Christ.
gosh.
Did we get blood indeed? My goodness.
I was just asking the show bros last week. I had actually asked them on multiple things. Sell me on this match. And I don't need to be sold on it now. I am locked in. This is the character. Like, shout out to Jimmy for,
he paid Apollo just right.
It's one of those things because also Jimmy, he's kind of needed it. He was still kind of like a bad guy. He was doing the no yeet. This is like on a multiple levels. It helped Jimmy. People now feel bad for him, or they care about him a little bit more because he was tapped out. He is officially a face because of that beat down. He even said yeet, and like he moved the no yeet to the past, to the thing of the past.
I know I missed it last week, but like just that promo that he and Jay had last week, I'm like, they were setting this up just right. And
Indeed.
And again, like you go back to like where they were a year ago, where they were basically at each other's throats, leading to their match at Mania. To see where they are now, to see where one of them are going for a world title, like it's only right that you have the brother in the other brother's corner, and just for that to lead up to what happened on Monday with Gunther, it's like, oh, now it just got personal. Now it just got real, because whatever else that had been going on in the previous month and a half, it was like, yeah, I hear you, but when are we gonna get something that's gonna be like, oh, now I need to see this match now, and I think we're finally at that point.
Indeed. No, it was bubbling, and it played out perfectly, right? Just to bring Jimmy back. He's been gone, behind, and have him in his brother's corner. And I mean, the writing was on the wall, like the conversation that he had with Jay. Then he walks up to Gunther and slaps the taste out of his mouth.
He absolute dog shit.
God damn. So like you knew like, oh well, R.I.P. Jimmy, dog. Like you knew Gunther wasn't gonna let that slide. To watch that play out in the way that it did was absolute cinema. And like, you have that sympathy for Jimmy. Jay is heated now. So like, it's about to, these next couple of weeks is just about to be nothing but brawling and ass whoopings. So I'm very excited. I was already kind of excited. Like, you kind of wanted to get behind that underdog story. But yeah, it wasn't kind of bubbling right. So let me sprinkle a little seasoning to it to give it a little flavor, give it a little spice. And it definitely turned out just right. So I'm very excited for where this goes.
Okay. In the future. Let's go here next then. There's still 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we do? Does Jay miss next week because he's tending to his brother? And then he shows up on the go home episode and attacks Gunther. Like, how do we go at this? Because I'm worried that that's a peak. So how do you keep that energy?
It's not a peak. Because you're definitely gonna have that moment where where Jay does have to, kind of get his lick back before the big show. And I definitely feel like probably taking a week off might make a little bit of sense here. Because again, this is why, like, when you have so much time in between what was Elimination Chamber to now, because like, mind you, if they were on their regular schedule, this past Monday would have been the go-home show. Would have been this weekend. And so now that you have a couple more weeks to account for, it's like, okay, like now we got to make sure that now that we have this moment, how do we make sure that, one, we keep the interest high, and at the same time, we still give everyone that right amount of burn. So again, so by the time that WrestleMania weekend comes, it's like, yo, I can't wait. I'm trying to see everything. I want to catch every last match of the show and get the homies to pull up and talk about it. And yeah, so like I would say at the very least, probably take off this Monday and then probably come back. I want to say that week after might be the go home show. Let me look here.
It's 3 weeks away, right?
Yeah. So okay, yeah. So like if they miss next week, that's the 14th. So the 2 weeks, yeah, that will be the go home episode. That works just perfect. So let's get it. Let's get it.
Again, I still, because even if he comes out, Gunther can't back down. So what does he have to do? Like attack him? What does he have to do? Like attack him with the weapon? He can't make him bleed. Also, because you almost need to save that. Honestly, I don't even want them going face to face. I want the first time them seeing each other is at WrestleMania.
You
also,
might have
a WrestleMania being on the weekend that it's on. Like if you know.
I mean, it's I feel like if nothing else, you could probably have like a contract signing. Of course, you know how that can always go sideways, but it doesn't have to go so sideways that it kind of spoils things for Mania. What's
the contract signing for? The it's already been,
I mean, you know how they like to have their contracts and shit. So if nothing else, do that. But like, yeah, it doesn't have to be a whole lot. But that's again, like if Mania was this weekend, it'd be like, oh shit, this about to be fucking on. But like I said, it's okay. It's okay.
I think they did it right. Like if they did it this weekend, like Mania was this weekend, like it's just too much. Like you gotta kind of let that cook. You gotta kind of let that emotion simmer. You gotta kind of let him grieve that a little bit. So like taking the week off, like to grieve that, like you kind of gotta let him feel that.
Get your emotions together, collect yourself.
Like
it's
I like
that.
It's too much.
Get some self care along with Jimmy care and all that shit. Yeah. And mind you, of course, the crazy thing there is that. Obviously, we see what's going on with Naomi on SmackDown. I'm like, that like technically it would make sense for her to take off time too. But of course, kayfabe be kayfabe, and so she'll probably still be stalking Jay. But hey, it's okay. It's okay.
I love a promo she cut too last Friday. By the way,
yes, man. Yes, sir. That's like we're in a real cool time right now because we're seeing people being stretched from what we know them to how they normally are, and they're being tested in the new ground, like we see it on both WWE and AEW. And yeah, Naomi is tapping into something. It's like, especially for what she's known to do, for who she's known to be throughout her entire career. It's like seeing this and going this far with it already. It's like, oh, we just might have something here.
Yes, sir.
Because it's like how long can you stay one type of character, before people be like, all right, like you had your moments, you had your things here and there, but like it's like at some point you just be on cruise control. Now it's like, oh, we got a new
25
coat
years.
of paint. We got a new coat of paint, and we can see how this one look and see how this one goes off. So. We'll see how Naomi goes there, but yeah, like so far, yeah, she's cooking good shit.
Let's go. And speaking of contract signings,
Yeah.
this I like. We didn't need this contract signing because it's a singles match.
We did.
Well, I mean, we did because it's a good way to get them all talking their stuff, being able to do their thing, and for it to make sense. But in the end, it's a non-title match, so it's like, why are you signing a contract?
Because he's the big boys, the big dogs, as Punk would say, the big dogs.
And that's where I am done hating, because everything else I very much loved about the segment. I watched, and you could definitely tell how interested WWE are on certain things, because most segments on the website, they'll only share like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. They put all 16 minutes of that promo available. You could watch the full thing, and I watched it like twice because I was like, what happened here? Did I miss something? Let me watch it again. And I just love how each person has their own beef with each other, and that you don't really know where it's gonna go. Last week I already said I'm gonna be the homer. I'm going for the home team, which is Seth Rollins. He's from my city.
You got a new one coming. He got a new one coming this winter, dog.
Constantly shooting up the club. She don't need a career anymore. I'm the man now. It's just one of those, and also, she's Irish. They like having a lot of families.
They're fertile. They're a fertile breed.
They are the Mexicans of the whites.
I don't know if you saw Seth Rollins. He was on one of the Fox shows recently. Yeah, and he was talking about like how he and Becky came up with the first baby, and how it was like the first night of the shutdown Raws, and Becky was drinking with Stone Cold, and it turned into a little bit more Monday Night Raw afterwards. God.
Yep. So he shouted out Stone Cold on that. Indeed. Yep, I remember that.
That's such a wild thing. Appreciate you, Stone Cold. Oh man, this YFWP on FanFest is edgy, baby. Who knew? Oh, okay.
I think that with the segment, again, the dope thing is that everyone has beef with each other, and of course you got to think about like how far back all this goes. Yeah, because of course years. It was Punk that brought out the Shield back in, what was that, 2011, 2012, and so like they're tied to Punk from the jump, and so like to see where that started, to see where they are now, where basically you talk about three of the biggest names in the business, and they're able to bring this all together. I wonder how Mr. Moxley is feeling, because like what if he was around right now? I'd be like, because he would easily fit into this easily, and he would have his beefs that he could easily pick at. So it's one of those things where, yeah, like for the amount of depth that this story has just recently and also overall, they kind of had to make this the main event. And of course, we saw how Punk was looking into the contract, and Heyman showed like, yeah, you're in the main event. And I ain't gonna lie, had a little thug here right here.
That was real.
That was absolutely real, and
that was authentic.
But then you find out
that's not the favor.
So what are y'all thinking that the favor might be, Sir Crunkenster?
I actually have nothing. I feel like the favor is gonna happen after the match. I think whatever the fallout from this match is, that's how it's gonna happen. I don't even think it has anything to do with Roman Reigns. I just think it's gonna be
it does.
Yeah, it's gonna be just specifically just helping CM Punk. So that's like I think it's Seth wins. He faces whoever the champ is, and CM Punk goes, "No, motherfucker, you're fitting me in this. Favor, please. Do your thing, Heyman." And that's just how he gets in. I I don't. What else could a favor be other than getting him in a world championship match? I mean, because him leaving Roman Reigns for him, that's not necessarily a favor, but also if that is the favor, that then gives the opportunity for him to turn back on CM Punk to somebody else. I don't know. So I just think it's a title shot. It's interesting.
What about you,
Devin? What you got?
Yeah, like ultimately it has to come back to a title shot in some way. Is the title shot going to be at WrestleMania or is it going to be at another time is the real question, right? So again, passion. That was real. Just to, to feel all that, like that was amazing though. Just to everybody played their part perfectly in that entire scene. But it has to come back to a championship match. Him winning the title. Is it going to interfere with Cody and Cena somehow? I think it is. So we got to see how that plays out. Like, I can't say, I don't have the specifics around it. I don't have the situation, but it's absolutely going to play into Punk and Cody somehow. Like Punk has done all this to get a championship opportunity and he's fallen flat. And he said this, he's done all this. He was in the Elimination Chamber. He was in the Royal Rumble and he didn't win it. And now he's stuck kind of, on this, just, like you said, just this singles bout with Seth and Roman. So, it's going to culminate into that at some point. How, I'm not entirely sure yet, but that's what the favor is for sure.
So I shared with y'all a promo that Punk and Heyman did back in 2013. Back after Heyman turned on Punk and all that stuff, and Heyman said something that seems like only they would be able to keep up with that because it's like the best long-term storytelling. Because basically what he was saying was that at some point you're going to be in the main event of WrestleMania, and when that happens, I'm going to be by your side. You're just not ready for it right now, and that's okay. Right now we need a little bit of space, but at some point it's going to happen, and I'm going to be there. And I definitely think that the stipulation will be if Punk wins against Seth and Roman, he'll get into the main event on Sunday. And,
he will.
And when that happens, you're going to see Heyman right there beside him.
Crunk, I need you to understand, bro. Seth is not winning this match. He's not.
Y'all a bunch of haters. I can't wait to say I told you so.
I can almost guarantee he's taking the pin.
Yeah, because Roman's not taking that pin. Absolutely not. It's
definitely not. And then see him I know.
But yeah, it would. You could easily push that match further back, but again, it's really about that moment of WrestleMania, and I think that if assuming that Heyman can work his Heyman magic, that's going to be the favor, and I wonder if it's something I wonder if that's what he was looking for in the contract, and not what Heyman was talking about as far as the main event, but yeah, again, like that, like for a lot of people who definitely heard Punk, in the years that he was gone, basically just like, if nothing else, it's not like he was wrong when he was talking a lot of that shit against WWE, but you see that clearly this still means a shit ton to him, and so to have that moment of getting the main event just in itself, that's a big thing. And I think that for him, it's more important because, yeah, for a while, it didn't look like that opportunity was ever going to come back to him. And so to get that opportunity back, to get away from AEW and come back here when things are absolutely cooking and then add on to that, yeah, it's going to be a big deal. And like honestly, like I'm not that crazy about triple threat matches, especially considering they're already about to have one for the women too. It's like you're kind of double dipping, but at the same time, I feel like they're gonna cook up some magic here. I already feel it.
If this was WWE 2K25, they would be like, change up your matches a little, because there are going to be a lot of triple threats. There are going to be a lot of
multi-mans.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that in this WrestleMania.
NXT got one. The women got one. Now the men got one. It's like again, this is why this to kind of rewind a little bit. This is why the segment with Gunther and the Usos meant a whole lot, because you don't see blood that much, but when they did it was like, holy shit,
it was so much, and it was all over Gunther. I loved Gunther. Okay, so I know, but then he did like the tiniest little like blood
tasted
test.
it,
but it was so tiny. He was like,
he didn't drink it, but it's okay.
No, he was like, and then immediately went
his gangrel.
And then immediately spit it out. I was like, you were better off just leaving it alone than trying to like.
He tried it. Look, he tried it.
It was like, oh my god.
You said drinking it. He'll leave it drinking the AEW, but no, like again, like you don't see it that often in WWE. So like how they did it and how I mean they went all the way in.
They meant it.
It's like they made that shit count. And of course, I think that at Mania. Yeah, Jake gonna have to make Gunther bleed somehow. But yeah, I think that all of this, it like when you do something right and make it count, the shit fucking matters. And I definitely think that with Punk, Seth, and Roman, and of course Roman was up in there like he didn't give a fuck. He was like, "Your one's dream is another man's favorite check."
Yeah, he was having fun. Now, you just gotta love who he is now. He's just having fun with it at this point.
He is. Especially now that he doesn't have to be super serious. And speaking of way too many multi-men matches, this is a projection, of course. We are seeing this being built in real time. We had Dom Mysterio and Finn Balor take on Braun Breaker versus Penta. Braun Breaker ends up spearing Penta. They're pissy at each other. Finn Balor and Dom, you think that they're buddy all over again, but Finn Balor's it's me. Sound a lot like Roman Reigns.
Finn just grumpy as shit, man.
Grumpy old
but
man.
I like this whole like fake but also happy, selfish Finn Balor. It's kind of fun. Like he was like after the match, it's like, I won. And now I got my chance.
I pinned him in the center of the ring.
Yeah, and he's all like happy and everything.
Look at me. Look at him. I won. Look at me.
I enjoyed it. And then Dom being a little sweet guy, is he slowly turning to a face? Like, what is happening? I don't know. It was weird.
I think he's going to be the heel of the heel. I think, like he's going to screw Finn, obviously. So like he's going to double crosser in that sense. Yeah, obviously through the conversation that him and Mandy had.
They'll split, but somehow they'll figure a way to where Dom stays heel, because that's too much money for him to not be a heel. Like Dom is like such a
I really enjoy
a great heel.
Yeah,
because he had such a unique role that fits him specifically. That like you can't get that up anytime soon. Like at some point it's going to happen, but just not just yet.
No, this is good. I'm a big fan of this overall story. Crunk, I know you said you're tired of him, but Penta's working right now. I know you said you're tired
cooking.
of him. He's working right now. He's doing
and he's cooking so much that they're putting Rey Fenix on SmackDown. They're not even putting him together.
Indeed. They're doing all these promos on SmackDown. Like the man is coming on SmackDown.
Do you think they're going to acknowledge that they're partners?
Yeah.
I mean, I know people know.
No. They're going to acknowledge it, but yeah, like this is why, like, I think we talked about this back when Penta first debuted. It was like the shit was getting off so well that it was like, even if they do get Ray, it was like you're already cooking with Penta, and he's cooking much more than anybody really expected him to because of how he was using AEW. And it's like, do you want to subdue that just to make room for him and Ray to get put together, or do you want to see where this can really go? Because I feel like with the way this is going, I think that there's definitely an avenue where Penta can win the Intercontinental Championship at Mania, and then we can see what else goes from there. But I definitely think that like somehow, some way, you'll see the breakup of the Judgment Day. But at the same time, Dom and Finn will still somehow stay heels and just not fuck with each other, basically.
But no, right now, like, this is such a good storyline, and just throwing Braun into it as well. Just of course the ultimate athlete with it. Now him and Penta have beef because he speared Penta by accident. It's like there's so many. It's such good shit.
Such good shit, dog.
You gotta love it right now. So it's a good story. I'm all in on Penta. He's cooking. You gotta give him the man his credit. He is doing his job damn well right now. And we're going to see where it leads. Yeah, it's definitely Dom is definitely screwing Finn by Mania. I don't know what's going to happen next week. Obviously, Mandy says she's going to talk to Adam Pearce as soon as Finn was done talking to him. So I don't know what's going to happen with that next week. But yeah, there's he's going to Shawn Michaels Finn Balor before it's all said and done.
I don't want to. This is a quick sidebar because, of course, I have Dynamite playing it in the background. Y'all might be right about MJF because, like, he looking mighty light skin right now because that spray tan is like
it's aggressive. It's so aggressive. It's so aggressive. It's so aggressive. Hey, and I got Des Moines Menace taking on Union Omaha in the U.S. Open Cup. Union Omaha just scored, unfortunately.
Shout out to the USL and getting that pro rail, by the way. Shout out to y'all, man.
Yeah, I will. I think I am more interested in USL than MLS.
I mean, I could go into a whole tangent right now. Like, see, I need to go ahead and get going, get FTC back going because like there's so much we need to go ahead.
You gotta go talk about. Quick. Yes,
yeah, but yes, continue.
Yes, next topic. The AJ Styles, the phenomenal one,
the Mega Bowl.
It looks like he's
Megamania.
Oh my gosh, it looks like he. I can't tell. I'm not over Logan Paul, but the man can't just like keep winning like this. But also, like
he does.
AJ Styles,
it's so weird. It's so weird.
I hate saying it. His move, the pulverizer, it's pretty cool. I'm a fan.
It's good. It's damn good.
He got the right person to hit it on because I was like, that's dope. And of course, if you manage to get it off on Braun Reed, I'll be even more impressed. But yeah, getting it off on AJ, that they made that shit look absolutely incredible. And it has a funky build to it, but at the same time, I still want to see this match. I feel like it's obviously. Good. I feel like for as good as AJ is and for as good as Logan Paul has proven to be so far, like they should be, I would say if they're given a little bit of time, they just might be able to steal the show.
I think that's what they're going to do. And it's them protecting Logan Paul. They've done that really in every match where they put him up against another person who is really good at wrestling or at least really good at making a moment. And this is another chance for him to wrestle with a legend who will make him look good. We saw it in the pulverizer. AJ Styles is going to make sure everything lands and looks good. I just want AJ Styles to get the win. But that's the problem. Even if he does win, where does he go? I don't know. No one.
AJ's on his way out, man.
Exactly.
AJ, look, we understand AJ. He's at the end of the line. We all get that. We all love him. We all respect him. But he's definitely on the let's put over the next generation at this point. But no, it's going to be good. We know AJ's body of work. He's had good WrestleMania moments. I still sometimes sit back and rewatch him and the Undertaker. Like that was still such a overall.
That might be one of the few cinematic matches where I was like, I fuck with it,
works.
And like it worked. But I mean, it's absolutely crazy to me. Like, you know, for as long as AJ was in TNA, it's like, dog, you should like just imagine if he had been
here earlier
sooner. Dog, like what if he had managed to get there sooner and HBK was still going? It's like, dog, that would have been absolute magic. But no, like I mean, like, you know, I feel like I think he said like he wants to be retired before 50. I think he's like, so I want to say that's like maybe 2 or 3 more years. But yeah, I feel like just in the direction that WWE is going in general, he probably wasn't going to be going much longer anyway. But at the same time, like I feel like he does still have something to prove because given how the last couple of years have kind of gone for him, like he's kind of been like out of the picture.
Hurt.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like there's a case of where he's like, y'all must have forgot.
Yeah,
so,
no, of course, he absolutely still has something in the tank, and you know, use it until it runs out. He's still, you know, highly respected, as that clearly sees when he comes out. His fan reaction is still through the roof. So yeah, he's still a good wrestler. He's still very technical. And so I think this is a great opportunity of, you know, Logan Paul being protected by somebody that knows how to put on a great show. So I'm excited. I mean, they both talked the talk. It was good. Like you gotta respect Logan Paul to a degree, right? Like he's the ultimate heel. Like, you know, like he has all heat right now. Like not a single person's going to cheer him, and he kind of rides.
He finally embraced it. That was the important part.
Exactly. I think he rides that wave pretty well now. So it's good to, you know, have that ultimate heel against like the ultimate fan favorite. And no, I think it's gonna be a good show. I'm you know, I'm highly invested in it. We know the result, like, you know, that's kind of how this thing works a little bit. You know who's gonna come out on top, but make it look good. And I think they are gonna do that for sure.
Indeed. What else you got, boss man?
The last thing on the docket, I moved up the CM Punk and all that stuff. I figured we should leave, but then we're talking about multi-man matches, so I moved it up to the docket. We can finish with this topic and we can just go free reign if there's something, because last week we talked about the main matches and that we know of, so I felt like here we kind of needed to discuss some of the lesser loved, the earlier matches that are going to be in WrestleMania, like Dewey.
I feel like for once, because like Triple H has been kind of stuck on like having just like 4 or 5 matches on a show, on a PLE, and I actually feel like this show's probably going to have like probably 6 or 7 each night. And mind you, like this is the crazy part about just WrestleMania week in general, because obviously you have Raw the Monday before, then you have NXT. So like, of course, they're gonna be getting ready for Stand and Deliver. Then you got SmackDown on Friday. Then right after SmackDown, you got the Hall of Fame. Then Saturday morning-ish, you're probably gonna have Stand and Deliver like Saturday morning. Then you got night 1 that night. Then you got night 2 Sunday night. And apparently they have a roast for whatever reason. I have no idea.
I know.
Oh yeah.
But
you got to try things, I guess.
You know, we're in a new space now. You know, TKO and Endeavor, they got their whole entertainment things they want to try to do. But I feel like it's a lot. And then of course, you know, if you happen to be one of the true wrestle nuts, you're still trying to make time for Dynamite. You're still trying to make time for TNA. Still trying to make time for I'll like if Tony Khan happens to hear my voice, just don't even bother with Collision that weekend. Just don't even do it. Just, you know what? Hey, we will catch you the next week on Dynamite and that be that. Because that like at some point you're like, you know what, it's just not gonna work out your way. But yeah, it's a lot, and hopefully people have the stamina to sustain it, because there's always so much wrestling that people could handle in just one tight window. You're talking about like a strong 8, 11, probably 13 hours in the matter of 48 hours, like 13 hours of wrestling. Like that's just insane.
So is that gonna be too much?
If you're strong enough, like Tommy Lee Jones says, if you're strong enough.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts, Devin, on this?
Drew has been such a good worker, this entire time. You got to have him included. He's, I wouldn't say he's top 5, but he's up there. So you got to include him as, people that people want to see, in a sense. So, you have the former heavyweight champion against Drew McIntyre, and I get what you're saying. It just feels like another match. It was cool that he choke slammed him on the car, like, a good spot there.
That was a good spot.
But with so much else going on, something inevitably kind of gets the short end of the stick, and that's definitely where this feels like it's going with this. What's the end game, who's going to win, and what becomes of it? It's just, there's just too much around it. And yeah, unfortunately, this is definitely one of those short end of the stick matches. But they both obviously have credibility. They both shown their ability to be a champion in that capacity. So the body of their work is still very good. Will I watch? Of course I'll watch. I don't have a problem with either one of them. Both of them have entertained me in some capacity. But this is probably going to be, it definitely feels night 1, match 1 worthy. But we'll see what happens. I'll watch, because I'm tuned in. It's WrestleMania. WrestleMania, can't have a good match every single match, as much as we want it to be.
Everything can't be Steamboat and Savage. It's just sometimes you just gotta have a basic match, and and carry the water until the next big match. It's okay. It's okay.
It's going to be
for
the
every
match
Steamboat and Savage, you have your Taker and Giant Gonzalez. It just is what it is. So
what? I don't know if you're signed on to the Blue Sky account, but I actually had a conversation that involved talking about Undertaker and Giant Gonzalez, because apparently WWE either or tweeted talking about like the WrestleMania that changed it all, and talking about WrestleMania. And I was like, what the fuck did they change? I'm like, with that WrestleMania? No. but yeah, like, of course, I think I got a couple replies to that, and like somebody, eight-year-old, them as an 8-year-old was scared for the Undertaker. I'm like, you can't be scared of Giant Gonzalez.
Man in the gorilla suit.
No, you just can't. It just no. Like, granted, Jorge was a real tall dude, but that suit was still that suit. And just no.
Sometimes you try.
I was not aware of Giant Gonzalez, and I just looked him up because you were like suit, and I was like, suit?
Yeah.
Yikes. Holy crap. A muscle suit? That's hilarious. Yeah. This is hilarious.
Listen. Not every idea from the old man was a good one. I'm gonna just say that.
Not at all.
And mind you, like, it wasn't like because he was El Gigante in WCW. It wasn't like he looked that much better in WCW. Like, so he was just 7'7" and about 450. Of course, it didn't look like that because he was so damn tall. but it's just one of those things where like he really couldn't move. I think he was actually supposed to be like a prospect for the Hawks, and obviously they realized this ain't gonna work. And some of the WCW guys, they noticed him and say, hey, why don't you wrestle? And I mean, they got a little bit out of him, but it wasn't a whole lot. And somehow he managed to turn that into something with WWE and got a match with Taker. And then you realize, okay, we had enough here. We're good.
Yeah, not everybody can say they got a WrestleMania match with Taker. Hey, you went out with a bang, bro.
Well, I mean, technically he can't either anymore. He's not. RIP. Okay. Well, I found the last topic because I'm interested in y'all who, again, more tapped into the history. Mm-hmm. God damn it, Union Omaha just scored again. Ugh. I mean, I knew they were going to win, but god damn it. All right. So there are confirmations / they have either left their companies, and the thought is they're going to be joining WWE. None of these names intrigue me or make me feel joy or bring me joy, but I'm a hater. I will openly admit that. So my show bros, we'll start with this dude. Who the fuck is Jeff Cobb?
So Jeff Cobb is I want to say, yeah, he's from the U.S., but like he's been wrestling primarily in Japan for like the last 7-8 years. He's got a pretty good reputation to him. He's actually showed up a few times in AEW with a lot of hype or whatever, but oddly enough, he wasn't used for like any wins or whatever. Typically, he's taken losses, which honestly just boggles my mind because I feel like they could have used a guy like him. But I would say if you ever stop and watch his New Japan stuff, he's definitely got some risk to him, and I feel like depending on how he's used, he could definitely get off pretty well. Now, I will say based on the news that's been reported today, it might feel a bit redundant, but at the same time, like I said, I'm willing to see what they cook there, because I mean he's already like 40, so it's like I'm pretty positive he's going to be a guy to go straight to the main roster. But I'm low key curious to see what they do with him.
I feel like they already have plenty of. Oh, he's 42. They already have stocky, long-haired, tan dudes. Like one who does tsunamis. I know both of his ankles are broken, but I don't know. Just like looking at him,
that's still so crazy. But yeah,
okay. So I'm happy I brought him up first because he's the person I am least interested in. Saraya, she left, and speaking of, she had a book come out, and Nia Jax actually shared it on her social media, and I thought that was interesting. And so maybe it's a little hint of something. And I had missed Saraya in her Apex. I've heard tons of stories. I know she's a good feel-good story. People are excited about who she is as a person.
She had a whole movie made after her. I mean,
Rocket.
So yeah. So Saraya, of course, most people know her as Paige from her WWE days. She's like, I don't want to say a trailblazer, but at the same time, like like her story is definitely very, very influential. It's definitely very influential. Of course, she came from England. Her whole family's in the business, and like on her first night on Raw, she became Divas champion, beating AJ Lee, and then at some point she suffered a neck injury that pretty much sidelined her pretty much indefinitely with WWE, and they ultimately deemed her ineligible to compete. And like I said, they kept her on TV for a while as assistant GM and managing the Riot Squad or whatever. But for the most part, it was like, hey, we can't take that risk with you. So she, obviously, given how young she was, she wanted to still wrestle. So that's what ended up leading to AEW. And aside from winning the women's championship at the first All In at Wembley the year before last, she really hasn't done a whole lot. And like even like her debut, like that turned into a weird thing because I think she had like a promo with Britt Baker, and like it turned into like, well, like I did all this stuff in WWE, and that just soured a lot of the AEW fan base, and ultimately made her a heel. And like you could definitely tell that whenever she was in the ring, it was like you see it, but at the same time, it's just not daring because she didn't want to take any risk with her neck being the way that it is. And I'm pretty sure they realized it too. And they're like, yeah, this isn't going to work. Because apparently she actually did get let out early from her contract. I think she was supposed to have like a few more months. She's like, we'll go ahead and cut bait on this one and just let you do what you want to do. It sounds like she's at least open to it returning to WWE, but I still can't imagine her wrestling. So it's like, whenever she's in the space to where she's willing to accept that she probably ain't working no more, there probably is a space for her, but yeah, it won't be in the ring. Like it'll be like super occasional, if at all.
Like the occasional Heyman bump.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Okay.
Echo.
All right. Next is Aleister Black.
This one's interesting. This one's interesting because
I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah.
For he had a lot of potential in WWE to really I don't want to say be the top guy, but he definitely was a fan favorite in the Federation in WWE during his time. And I mean, I don't remember the specifics around his departure, but yes, he did go to
I think it's one of the COVID releases, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was one of those unfortunate things. But the man is good. I like him a lot. Like, even what he was doing in AEW as well. So
he had a really strong debut in AEW. Like he actually knocked out Cody Rhodes, but like then they did nothing else with it, and it just turned into something weird.
It kind of simmered down from that. But I think they definitely have a good time. They have opportunity. I think they know what to do with him in the WWE. And I'm excited to see him back. Of course, I don't think they're going to throw him in the main scene. He's definitely going to be like an IC.
I don't know because I feel like obviously. I think that obviously, especially to use him as a heel, you do have that history with Cody that you can kind of slightly lean on a little bit, and
facts.
And like the big thing that happened like back when he was first time around WWE is that back when Paul Heyman was the executive producer of SmackDown, he really wanted to do something with Aleister Black. Kind of like building stuff around him. Like I want to say to the point where he actually wanted him to main event WrestleMania one year, which would have been absolutely crazy. But nonetheless, like you still have your advocate still in the mix there. So it's like I feel like there definitely is opportunity. Obviously, his wife's there, Selena Vega. She's still there, and so I have a little bit of hope here. Like obviously,
I'm excited.
Like they had a lot of cool shit going on.
Is he going to join LWO?
I'd say like technically Selena's out of LWO technically, but no, I feel like there's definitely a lot of potential there. Like even for what he did at AEW, which was kind of inconsistent at times. Of course, you had a really cool aesthetic with the House of Black, but at the same time, it never really led to a lot of single success for Aleister as Malachi. So like I'm curious to see like what they do. Of course, kind of like with what's happening here. I'm curious to see like if it's not an overload all at one time as far as like new faces, because sometimes you need to like stagger it out a little bit so that way people have opportunity to shine. And with the amount of people that they possibly have coming in, it's like okay, like you gotta get these guys established, and you still got other guys that are already on the roster that need to be established. And it's like It's only so much airtime for everybody, and they're already bitching that the 3 hours on Friday, that's just a lot, and it is a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
I mean, Raw this week was like an hour and 48 minutes. It was a short episode.
Yeah,
I mean, and SmackDown was so freaking long though. Like, I'm ready for that to come on Netflix.
Listen. Like, whoever thought 3 hours on a Friday was a good idea, they need to do things to themselves that may cause them to longer be here. I'll say that because that's just fucking stupid. I'm like, you can do that. You can do that Monday through Thursday. You can get away with that. Friday through Saturday, if it ain't a PLE, don't ask me to do that shit.
Indeed. But no, very excited for Aleister Black. Happy to see him back, and I'm excited to see what they do with him for sure. Definitely liked him at his time in WWE.
And it looks like they are bringing back a couple, Rusev, Lana.
I don't know if Lana's coming back just yet, because like at least it was just him that was reported that was at that.
You got to. I've heard Lana was coming, but obviously
it might be eventually. I'm pretty sure eventually, yeah. It would seem inevitable. It seemed like the right thing to do, but yeah. So
I'm not gonna lie. When I got back into wrestling, it was that COVID time, so that was kind of the end of both of them. Yeah. I enjoyed Lana more than I enjoyed Miro, and I enjoyed Miro when he was tied with Lana.
So you didn't like it when she was all sweated up with Bobby Lashley.
With Bobby Lashley.
Oh no, I didn't care what that girl did. Like either way, I was a big fan. But so I'm just saying, whatever she does, if Rusev stands a chance, Lana has to be somewhere near. Like, first of all, introduce him, let him do his own thing and stuff like that. But I think he needs her.
So first of all, shout out to True Love, because they had split up and divorced and everything. Then once they were both released, I guess they finally said, like, what you doing, big head? And I'm nothing. I'm just chilling. And push came to shove, and now they're back together and everything. Of course, Devin and I, we go back a little bit further. Of course, two things here. One, I actually liked a little bit of what he was doing in AEW, especially like when he was doing like the Redeemer shit. Like I feel like they had something there, and then once he lost the TNT title, it was like it just, I don't know what the hell happened, but they had something there that I feel like you could put the WWE touch on it, and I feel like it would definitely work in a big way. Because at least to my second point is that back when Rusev was first in WWE, especially early on when he was doing all the pro Russia shit, like that dude was a fucking boss. To the point where if you go back and look at, he had a match with John Cena at WrestleMania 31 10 years ago, matter of fact. And this dude went full Drago with a motherfucking tank going out to the ring. I'm like, dog, that he was that big of a fucking deal. Yeah, he came out in a motherfucking tank at WrestleMania. Like, and somehow, some way, in the old man's wild ass imagination, he said, you know what? I'm gonna do all this and then have this mug lose. Like, are you serious? Are you serious? And then, of course, after that, nothing was ever the same. And I'm like, why do you build these guys up as these monster heels only to have turn them up as what I call hero fodder? Where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna have you lose to one of the main event baby faces, and then you just flounder off until we get tired of you.
And then you join the League of Nations.
Yeah, and then you get smashed, there by three retired dudes. It's like, dog. I'm like you, like, again, like, just this is why I'm glad the old man is gone, because I feel like those last few years, it's like, dog, like, you had money in your hands. So you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and set this guy up just to lose. He did that with Bray Wyatt, did that with Rusev, he did with a whole bunch of guys. He did with a shit ton of Triple H guys from NXT. And it's like, you say, you know what? I just feel that fucking petty. I'm that fucking rich, and I can do whatever I want. And I'm like that shit had to go. But no, I feel like there's stuff from his AEW run that definitely can work. And then if you've managed to get back that energy back from when he was first there, yeah, I think you could have something in a big way. And yeah, hopefully he's at a place where he's hungry, because like for the most part, I think it's like the last 2 years, it was like he hardly wrestled at all. Like he was just like
the newest member of Judgment Day.
but no, it was so bad. Like he actually was able to like go back home to Bulgaria and chill out there for a hot minute. And like, yeah, like, hopefully he is rested, he is ready to work, and he's ready to go. Because yeah, if I feel like, again, that one can go in so many directions, but I feel like if they do it right, you have yourself a top-notch heel without question. So but again, hopefully, because again, like I do see a lot of similarities, which like physically between him and Jeff Cobb. So I'm like, hopefully they stagger it out a little bit, so that way it's not like you don't run into an LWO situation where like everybody kind of looks the same. You don't want to make it all racial and everything. So hopefully you don't have to bring him back right now. Just bring him back soon, and we'll get there. So yeah.
Okay.
Who else you got? I said like the bands getting that together.
The main ones.
No, those are the names that I have found most recently talked about. And so yeah, I mean that's everything. We've gone over an hour. This is nice. We're sitting at what? Yeah, an hour and 16 minutes. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, again, hopefully you guys, because like I said, I see y'all on Blue Sky. Like Wrestle Sky on Blue Sky is really interesting because you definitely see a bit more discourse. And I'm like, not everything from AEW is bad. Not everything from WWE is good. It's like there's stuff to pick from everything. And I feel like if you just take a step back and just realize, everybody got work to do, it like we'll be a better place. Like don't go full Swerve and just be up someone's ass just because you're getting paid a good check. That's all I'm saying.
See, and that's what it feels a little bit like Cody Rhodes at AEW and CM Punk.
At least Cody Rhodes had an excuse because he was a fucking executive. Like
that's fair, but it's just they just feel like they have the need to kind of find a way to shit on WWE when they could just let AEW.
And of course, it's funny because like you saw like how many references they were like in the past couple shows. Like WWE was definitely getting their strays in. They were getting their strays in. So I mean, like it's like I love having a rivalry, between promotions. I mean, everything isn't always going to be,
but it's heavily one-sided.
Perfect harmony. But at the same time, like,
for sure.
If you can get your shots in, get that shit.
Oh, what I mean, while we're here talking about AEW, I mean, and this also might be.
Did y'all talk about the spikes? Did y'all talk about the spikes last week?
We didn't. It was very intense. It was very intense. I saw it and I was like, this might be too much. That was too much wrestling.
Yeah, because like especially when they did the close up of pulling, I was like, dog.
I know, trying to pull it out. I was like, no, thank you. No, thank you.
Again, sometimes you go too far down the rabbit hole. You're like, you know what? Some things, just because you think about it, doesn't mean you should do it.
Well, because it stalled everything up. Because it was,
it did.
Yeah, it went way past the shock value to like now I'm actually worried about his health type of.
It
vibes.
Exceeded the shock value.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
like you need something like you need to sterilize that. It's clean.
Yes, 1,000%. Someone announced that with their deal with Max, that they're basically up.
They probably reported numbers. Yeah. Like, assuming that is correct, because like that's
what I was gonna ask. Do you believe it, or do you think it's funny numbers?
I don't want to come off like I'm hating. I would say being truthful, I would say it's probably half. It's probably half of that. So they're probably doing pretty good, at least for what they're currently pulling on TV. But you're telling me that is a straight up double the amount. you're counting every last view if you're doing that. Like even if you just like click on it by mistake, like oops, I didn't mean to watch this. Yeah, like no, we count.
We got you.
But I would say like actual consistent viewers, I'd say probably half of that.
So they said that because on Max,
or is it like the body count where it's like multiply your number times 3?
Like I mean, honestly, it feels like that because basically 500,000 viewers extra because of Max.
Yeah,
and so that would average them around 1.1, 1.2 million viewers a week.
Which I'm like, if that's the case, if cord cutting is that major, then like that's very stunning. But again, I'm going to treat it like a body count and just say like, that's your like take your real number, multiply it by 3. There you go.
Damn. Okay. All right. Well, that is episode 24 of Your Favorite Wrestling Podcast. My show,
the Kobe number, the Kobe episode 24.
Devin, we'll start with you. Let people know where they can find you and the things that you do.
So you can always find me on the Blue Sky, Devin Pugh, all the Blue Sky, that stuff. It's not as simple as Twitter, but Devin Pugh, I'm always there talking to wrestling, talking to soccer, everything black, as you know. I'm also, I usually handle it for work stuff. I still handle some Elon things here and there. Just work stuff mostly, _ Devin Pugh. Also _ Devin Pugh on IG. And also catch me talking about Arsenal on FTC.com on Blue Sky.
So, like I said, it's been a while since I've been on the friendly skies of Your Favorite Wrestling Podcast. So, of course, you can find me at FTC Greggo on Blue Sky. You can find the mothership at FTCUTD.com. Again, like I talked about this the other day on Blue Sky. I've been busy as shit. Of course, again, it's the beginning of the MLS season, so a lot of people are getting in their new jerseys and everything. And one little thing that we have learned over the course of the past off season is we have learned the art of what I like to call the jersey remix. And what that is basically if you follow me with the camera right here, you'll see over here behind my shoulder, you'll see Atlanta United 2024 away jersey with the Atlanta Influences Everything logo on the front. And you might ask, how did I do that? How did I do that? Just know. Go to ftcutd.com/shop. You'll see and just learn about the jersey remix. And they said, we'll do our thing. So we can do it on the back, we do it on the front to the back, to the sleeves, to the collars. We got all that covered. Just get at us. We'll make it silky smooth, as they say. We'll make it silky smooth. But yeah, Instagram, FTCUTD Pod, TikTok, FTCUTD Pod, and occasionally, we'll still do retweets and stuff on the old Bird Box and all that good jazz. Hit it.
Anything for me, just follow Shades of Blue NW, Shades of Blue NW.
I heard your team actually won some games while you were there, man. It's good for them.
It was nice. Well, they drew one, and then the women won. But technically, I didn't see the second Brighton goal. I was walking down the stairs from doing the halftime show. So in my brain, it's in 2-1. It never happened.
Look at your guys having some positive news. Then, of course, you lost Holland, and I'm like, hey, sorry for you.
Hey, we got Marmouche, though. We got Marmouche. Bro is handling things.
It was Leicester.
Exactly. Man. Like, calm it down.
Hey,
calm
you
it
can
down.
only beat what's in front of you. You can only beat what's in front of you.
See, now he wants to use that. Now he wants
I say.
Oh man. Gosh. Where can they find us, guy? Where can they find us?
Your YFW podcast. YFW podcast. We are on Blue Sky. We're technically on Instagram. I don't touch it though. But follow us. Run up the numbers.
Do you need some help? We can make it silky smooth there too.
I need to figure out what the password is, and yeah, I'll share it with you guys. Yeah, those are the two. Check us out on Blue Sky. We're a good time.
We're active there. We're definitely active.
We're very active on there. All right, Greggo, say the thing.
This is your favorite wrestling podcast for Devin, for Crunk. This is Greggo. If you can't be good. If you can't be good, be bad.
Be bad, baby.